boys are still making it. I just did a lot of TV stuff.
Yep. Oh, there he is.
Hey, everybody. How are we doing?
Good.
By the way, we're
How are
sending
you?
a little past 2:15 just to try and get everything done.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you. All right. Yes, we've all made it. Thank God.
First, thank you for returning Charlie to us.
Sure. But is it Charlie? Or is it the same Charlie that we know? Who knows?
I'm just going to get this character. Is she gay?
Is the new Charlie gay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank God, because there was a lot of arguments about whether the phrase when she was introduced, whether that scene read as her thinking it was cool that the other Charlie was gay, or whether she was gay.
No, she is, and although her backstory, as we'll learn, is very different from our Charlie's backstory, the rule we've been kind of going by is basically everything pre-2008, when the show started, is the same, and then once the show started in the Apocalypse world, everything kind of went crazy. So that particular aspect is not affected by the Apocalypse.
No, totally. It's just a weird read that was argued about. I was just curious.
Sure.
Okay. What's it like having to write for a totally new character that you know is going to be played by an actor who you're so used to writing as Dean? Is it weird?
It's weird, yeah. I'm not a fan personally of Jensen, as I think I've made very clear.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone.
I know.
But no, it's interesting because you're writing a new character. It's a new character, but it's not a new character, right? We saw Michael a little bit last season.
True.
But the Michael that we're seeing coming in here is a little bit different, and he's been, as much as our guys get changed every season, Michael changed a little bit by the end of last season as well. We kind of peeled back the onion, and you realize something what looked like kind of this warlord of Apocalypse world in the first episode. By the end, you realize he's actually quite disappointed with how things worked out. This is not the world he wanted, you know what I mean? This is what happened because of mistakes. Now he has, now he has a second chance. So he comes to our world, he's got a second chance. That's great. But his approach has to be different because he doesn't want the same result. So it's the same character, but it's a little bit of a different character, if that makes sense. And then writing for someone like Jensen, whatever you write, he's going to make it better. That's across the board, no matter what it is. But obviously, there's a temptation when you're writing for Dean to put jokes in and things like that. That's much harder to do with Michael. He's not super pop culture savvy.
Yeah. He doesn't seem too funny.
No, he's not like a laugh riot.
No.
His jokes tend to be it's a mean sense of humor. You know what I mean? So it's been a little bit of an adjustment, but as I said, anything we give Jensen, he knocks out of the park. So that's never a concern.
Did you say something on the panel about Jensen doing scenes with Ruth, with Rowena coming up? Did you?
Jensen doing scenes with Ruth?
Rowena, yeah.
I believe that is going to happen, yes.
So what's that going to look like?
That would be a little spoilery, but it will happen.
Besides Michael, are we going to see other big bads this season, or is he the main?
I think he's the big problem. You know what I mean? And I think when you got someone like Michael on the loose, suddenly the werewolf alpha doesn't seem like that much of a concern. You know what I mean? So that will be the focus for everyone. Yeah.
What can you tell us about the 300th episode?
The 100th episode was really kind of a conventional episode of Supernatural. There were really very few non-films, a special thing at all. For the 200th, we went the exact opposite direction. It was very meta and very much kind of fan-based. I think for the 300th, we want to kind of split the difference. And, the idea we had, kind of the seed that started with, which was a writer named Meredith Quinn's idea, Sam and Dean live in this bunker. They've lived here for a number of years. This bunker is in a place called Lebanon, Kansas. We've never seen what the people of Lebanon think of Sam and Dean. These two guys that come to the bar and drive the car through, and they go to the laundromat and their shirts are covered in blood. You know what I mean? So it's not all rosy. So that's kind of our idea, to explore that world. So it becomes a story about Sam and Dean, starring Sam and Dean, but allows us to kind of make it a little bit of love letter to the show and a love letter to them. Hopefully. Unless it all falls apart.
You know how lonely everyone's on
Yes,
the
that's
Lebanon
so awesome.
Yes, I think it'll be really, really cool.
Yeah. I was wanting to ask about, I think Brad or Rob was talking about this season, it's a little bit shorter, it'll have less filler, not filler, but less Monster of the Week standalones. You've shorter, so you cut those down. But I noticed in season 13, you didn't really have every episode, Monster of the Week was still the main arc. There wasn't really a standalone except for Scooby Natural. And I'm just wondering, what that shift has been like about powering that story through a bit harder rather than making a procedural.
For sure. I think, we've always tried to keep it's always been about 50-50.
Yeah.
Half standalone or quasi-standalone, half kind of myth episodes. I would imagine that ratio will probably still stay about the same.
Yeah.
So you're going to lose some myth. The myth will become maybe slightly less complex, but that's not always a bad thing for us. And the number of standalones will obviously need to go down as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we've got a lot of balls in the air. in terms of myth, but also in terms of characters, we have a lot of characters to just kind of service here. Not only Sam and Dean, who we've had since for 14 years, but Castiel, but Jack, but Bobby, but Mary, but Charlie, but a lot of these people that have come back. We want to make sure that we didn't bring them back for no reason.
Yeah, that's the other big question. It's more like quote-unquote lead characters to
Yes, and it's also something where we're very confident now, we were less confident before, of being like, you know what, we can go and spend half an episode with Alex Calver being Jack.
Yeah.
We can go spend a half an episode with Mary and Bobby doing something. Which again broadens things out in a way, allows you also to go tell a standalone story there, but keeping the other story more kind of myth focused. So it's been an adjustment for us. It will continue to be an adjustment, but it's something that I think is going to work pretty well.
Terrific. Thank you guys.
All right, thank you everybody.
Thanks.